Hey everybody, welcome to the Monday version of the Dutchman's Wood Shack. Um, I'm playing around with this carving here. I don't know if you guys can see that or not. My camera's a mess right now, so bear with me. Okay, so I'm doing a different shape. First thing I got told is it looks like a volleyball, but I'm going to take this and try and recreate a hat on there. First off, I got to cut the corners off, but I want to find the center. Okay, so my big deal is you want to find the center here, so that I can punch it. So now this is a typical piece of cedar fencing post. And the grain on this is really kind of neat, so I don't know how this is going to stain out when I just put, I'll probably just wipe on poly in. I don't know, I'll look in drawers and see if I got anything that might. I kind of like the natural look. I don't like the stain. You'd be surprised with wood, one coat of white on poly or something like that on it. It actually gets darker, but you just got to play with it. This is the thing when I tell people, if you're going to do stuff, be creative about it. Think outside the box. Don't be like the other guy. There's a friend of mine. She does a great job. She does a great job of making snowman. Her name is Holly Dane. She check her out. I think it's a Disney Snowman or something. Anyway, she goes all out for her snowman. She's got different kinds of stuff on there. I do believe she's got like Michigan drummers, Michigan college. I want to say college ones. Yeah, see, I'm off a little bit here. Okay, that's more like it. Okay, so that's good there. So, here's the idea now. I have to take the corners off of this. That's next. Put your fingers in there, try to get the piece of wood. If they get hung up, because sometimes you go to crack, turn it off and pull it out. Because it'll suck your fingers right in there. Okay, so now I'm going to cut this in half. So you got two pieces, this piece and this piece. Now this one I'll probably use. I can use this to make a box. Now the thing that I would tell you about is this stuff is very porous. So when you're turning it, even with your tools being sharp, it'll pit out. Okay, what I'm going to do here is basically I'm going to kind of carve this down a little bit more. Okay, so that's carved down where I want it. Now, the reason I'm not going any further with this is I want to take this and put this on my drill press over there and sand it down with a deal. I just want to round this off. So, what I'm going to do here, I'm going to sand this down a little bit. Now, this is 80 grit, okay? And I finished it up before, just roughly with 80 grit, but then I went up to 120. Now, this is the thing. I've got my air purifier going up here, too. So, now the one thing that's bad about pine, anything to do with like cedar or pine, different kinds of cedar, especially fence posts, they're dried out enough to where they're really punky, so you have to spend a lot of time trying to sand the things, you know. You can always end up taking up off a lot. That's what you have to think about this ahead of time when you're doing this, if you want to use it for whatever particular project. You know, like number 2 pine or clear pine. I've actually used clear pine from one vine. I've glued them together at times to make stuff. But again, it's like when I was making, see, that wasn't too bad. They carved that out. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is take this off. See, and I can take this off real easy on the drill press, just the sanding, now. What I want to do with this is this like this. Now a lot of times I can do this just by looks. But I watched a guy do this at a pin symposium one time. It was like he never put any kind of markings on it, just put it in there, a big old piece, and it went all over the place. So I didn't quite agree with that one, but you see it's over on one side, so I'm just going to move it up. Up. I mean, if it's off a little bit, it won't matter. I got 8 people in there. 8 people. Now remember, to subscribe to me. You'll get my notices if you do. Otherwise, you won't get me, which is fine too. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this one cylindrical. Now here's the thing with me. All right, I use different tools on these things, so it's not a big deal. I have my own tools. I know a lot of people like to use different tools, but one thing I can tell you, I go against the norm a lot, so I don't use a lot of the normal tools. I like to use carbide tips. One of them being like this, the CI2, at the negative rank on here. It works great. I have the round one, But I like to use the square one sometimes because the square one will keep it a little bit more even. The round one leaves rings, and it's not so bad. And I'll bring this over it later on, try and straighten it out a little bit. But other than that, it works. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to straighten this out and show you what I'm talking about, how it was. Okay, so I've got the shape, the rounded circle. Now, two things I do before I go any further. One is I want to make sure that I round off the head a little bit because I don't want it split. The same thing down here. Now, first thing you want to do is you figure out what size you want your rim. So, what I do is usually take this off. And see what it looks like. Hey, it might be okay by the time I put it in. It might be a little bit smaller. So what I'll do is just take a smidge off when I get to a certain point. But now I was telling somebody this earlier. When I'm doing this, okay, so when I'm doing these kind, this is what I did. This one's about 16 and a half inches tall. But you see how long this is, right? Now this is a piece of Osage, and this is a piece of red oak. And this is basically a branch. This one was a bigger branch, but it split. And I was going to toss this in the fireplace. But it stopped splitting a long time ago, so I like the color content. People like the split look, you know. So, but when I'm doing this, you see, I just carved it a little bit to leave the bark on. Now you could do. I've done these where the bark is left. I take all the bark off, but that's how I do these. Then I have somebody come in and put these beads on it and poof it up. My general inspector, when I go through, she goes through my stuff last thing. This one's for sale, okay. I do have a price on it, but I'm not going to tell you what it is. But like I say, it's about 3.5 inches around or across. And what I usually do with this, when I drill a hole in the middle of both the top and the bottom of this, and I put one of those screws in where you screw, it's double tap screw. You screw the head onto the head. ever wanted to pull it off, you could. I wouldn't do that though, but like I said, this is like 16.5 inches tall. The top, the head is probably the biggest right here. The head is probably about 4 inches across, a little bit over 4 inches. But this one is because of the crook in the back. That's the reason why I picked this one. Now I do a lot of offset turning, and when I say offset, here's a good part of it. Wider on here and narrower on here. If you really want to get carried away, all you have to do is move one side or the other around to make it offset. If you've never done it, just take a piece of wood, turn it, and see. Move things up and down one end or the other. I always tell people take a couple of 2x4s, or take like this and turn it, and just move it around. This is kind of short for offset turning, but the longer stuff works out great. But you don't want to be like the other guy. See, that's the big thing. You don't want to be like the other guy. I mean, you can, but you want to put your own spin on it. Spin, get it? And with me, I won't know until I get like halfway through what I'm doing before I know what I'm doing. You know what I mean? It's a plan of attack. Okay, so now what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to start carving the hat. Now, you got it in your mind you want to have it shaped a certain way, and you want to have the brim up, like it flared out a little bit. That's usually the way I do it. It's like a top hat instead of going up certain. I like to make things a little offset there. And you, at the end, if you wanted to cut this at an angle, you could always take this on a miter saw and just cut it. Or probably turn it, something, grind it, whatever. Yeah, it's a fairly good shape, right? But you see how it pitted. You see how it pitted. Now, see, that's the problem when you're doing stuff like this. It, it's not. It's a problem, but it's not a problem. Okay, so my tools are sharp, by the way, too. Was it Abraham? Abraham or Abraham? Nice to see you, buddy. Thanks for joining me. Oh, I don't know your language, but okay. So now this is I'm making a hat for a snowman. Okay. Now, again, it depends on what you want to do. And I have people that are, I don't want to say opinionated, but they tell me what I should or shouldn't do. Now, with this, what I'll do is I'll sand this, get it down to where I want it, and then I'll look at it and say, okay, how much do I want to put rings on it? Sometimes I'll put rings at the top. But you see how it fits, right? I'd do a piece of paper. Okay, so this is 80 grit. So the other one was worn out. It's about worn out for doing this. So if you haven't subscribed to me, go ahead and do that, and it'll let you know when I go on. I hope. I don't know. I don't know how to use YouTube yet. I'm still kind of learning the tricks of. I'm not an IT person, so you know. Anyway. Oh, and the other thing is you can never have enough sanding tools. Guarantee that. It's just, you know, when I start doing really deep bowls. Come on, Jeff. I know I can put this on. Okay, so now the sticky paper. So the AT people out there, I want to know, are you learning anything? You like what I'm doing? Or are you just along for the ride, so to speak? Let me know. You know, give me a comment. If you don't want to do live comment or live chat, just go ahead and send me a message. There's a place on my YouTube channel where you can do that. Let me know, yes or no, if you like me or don't like me. I'm just a friendly neighborhood dust maker. I don't know if any of you guys ever saw Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. I keep wondering, you know how they start if you did, you know how they start the program, Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. I always thought about starting my program off like that. You know, I gotta make my own songs, my own music, but it'd be a little cross between Norm Abrams, just the new Yankee Workshop, and Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. Except mine it would be the Mr. Dutchmans Workshop. Okay, so now, you see how that turned out? It's pretty good, huh? Pretty good. Getting there. But here's the thing, again, when you're doing cedar or pine, ready, or maple, some of the maples, you'll take off a lot sanding. My guess is 2/16 maybe, But this one, maybe an eighth. I judge it by the dimples I have on there too. If I got something that looks like it's an eighth of an inch deep, then I'll figure I'm taking an eighth of an inch, right? Okay. The only thing is these in the corner, that's the other thing. You have to be really particular about that. So that's why you can't be too fancy with the hats, because you spend too much time trying to get the corners out, and I don't have all the sanding tools I should have for that, I guess. Let's see what I got now. Oh, much better. It's still not too bad. Okay, so now I'm sanding this with 320. I'll go with that. Or is this 120? Oh, it's 120. I had my friend Zero tell me this, that I should be sanding maybe when you're doing a Securio board or a tray or something, you should be doing it. I shouldn't go any further than like 200, maybe 180, because it doesn't allow for the stuff that you're going to put on it, the sealer, to really get in deep enough. And he's kind of right. Yep, he's exactly right. And I never thought of it that way. When I do bowls, I get carried away with trying to make them perfect by sanding them down and polishing them before I put anything on it. But a lot of times that doesn't work. It didn't work either. So, and then you got to be careful when you see. I left the groove there. Yeah. Yep. Well, I'm good there. And she looks good, actually. One more thing I gotta do. Okay, so I'm doing this with 320 now. Just not very long, just to get it smooth enough to match what I've done the other ones with. Okay, so now what I want to do, I'm going to put this on the drill press over here. Okay, so now what I'm going to do here is I'm gonna sand this off so you can see this. So give me a few minutes. Okay, see, now we got the head, right? We get a head up. There we go, there we go. Okay, so what I'm gonna do here, shoot. I know it. Huh. Alright, gotta be an easier way, right? Okay, so now you got your hat, right? So, there you got your hat, right? See that? So what do you do now? Well, this is where you take the Forstner bit or something and you concave in it. Now, a lot of times I don't have to do that with a Forstner bit. I can do it with this. So I'll turn it around and I'm going to do this. Now, bear in mind, you're going to have to do some extra sanding to concave it a little bit more, but this is what I usually do. Now, again, the Disney snowman maker, Turner, Holly Denny, she does hers where she cuts her heads in half, and then it, or a third, and slants them that way. That's another way you could do it. And I encourage you to check her out too. She's a really good turner. I've never met her in person, but love to. Okay, so now I think now let's see what that looks like. Now I'm going to have to take it back over on the drill press again to get this off of here. But I think we're good to go once I get this. The only thing is trying to sand that out. So back over to the drill press we go. Okay, so let's see how she works now. Much better, right? Much better. See, now I can move this around to where I want it. So, I don't know if this will work or not, but okay, so there's the snowman right there. I should lower this a little bit more. And that's about it right there. Yep. So, see how simple that was? Okay, so the one, whoops, hey, sorry guys. I have to get a decent setup in here one of these days. Okay, so the one thing I will tell you, it's up to you how you do this. It's in your head. I've done this several different ways. I like the ways I do it. Um, and I also get ideas off of somebody else's stuff. The bottom line is if you are creative and you got imaginative mind, and here's the other thing is you could set it like this. You can set it at an angle. All right, yeah, that's kind of what I do is I set them like this. I mean, then you gotta have to worry about how you do the bottom, you know, so that it stays flat. Now this one I'll probably have to cut to make it sit flatter, but it's a fun project to do. It's simple. That was just made out of 2 pieces of cedar 4x4 fence post. And the only thing different here is this. But usually at the end, I usually put it on this. There's so many different ways that you could create things like this. It's pretty awesome. Anyway, that's my lunchtime edition of making a snowman. Next time I'll see if I can't make something different. Maybe I'll start a bowl. How's that? With that note, I gotta say, if you're not making sawdust, you're not being creative. So enjoy the ride, make something out of it, and Godspeed. God bless everybody. Have a great time. And again, if you haven't subscribed to the Dutchmans check, please go ahead. No, I don't charge anything, and it just lets you know when I'm on. Thanks again, guys. Feel free to leave me a message too.